How's the little birdies?
Great. The freaking ducks are ginormous already. They're getting big. I got to build their
Dude,
house.
they grow so fast.
Yeah, our meat
Like,
birds.
they're literally like reproducing in like 4 or 5 months. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like laying eggs. I mean,
yeah, they
it's
already.
crazy.
So we did the method of we put them in those black and yellow like safe light or whatever they're called
Yeah,
containers,
I like that setup.
and then cut out
Yeah,
the tops and then like chicken wired it.
you
The
showed me the picture. Oh,
yeah,
that's a great idea.
the ducks, so I put a couple pieces of 2x4s to put their water on and their food so they don't like spill into it nonstop, which the ducks just freaking bypass that shit and just like, we're gonna fucking get water everywhere no matter what. Uh,
Yeah.
but if they stand on the wood, their heads can just peek out. So they're already that tall. So I'm gonna build. So we've got a nice um, little. It's like a entryway into the pasture that's already like fenced off. What I think I'm gonna do is build a house for them there, dig out a little pond thing that I can just put in a kiddie pool to fill with water. That way I can still pick it up and like rinse it out and everything because obviously they're nasty as shit. But
Yeah.
just do that so that way, and then I'll gate it up and close it so that predators obviously kind of back off a little bit. But so it'll just kind of
Yeah.
all be enclosed for them, and then the chickens will be in their area, and they can be by themselves. And
Yeah.
then I'm finishing up the chicken tractor. It'll be done tomorrow. Then the meat birds will come outside soon, and then we'll see how those go.
Oh yeah. Very
All
cool.
over the place. Addie loves it though. The ducks are hers at this point. She's just claiming
Yeah.
them.
That's awesome. Ducks are a step up from chickens as far as the amount of work because they require water and shit.
Yeah, that's why it was nice that we had already kind of a spot. But we were supposed to get turkeys, meat turkeys. They didn't ship them to us. So they had a
Oh,
few ducks there, and I was like, we already have a brooder. We kind of talked about this anyways. They're cute, they're fun. Obviously, they're work, but like they're fun to have. And then I've heard like duck eggs are really good for like baking and stuff, is what Julia has heard a bunch. So
yeah. You can tell the difference in the taste. They're like more fatty.
yeah, so we ended up putting
I
them in that other brooder instead of the turkeys, and then I'll get turkeys on the next
Ducks just
order.
don't lay a lot of eggs. I don't
Yeah,
think.
yeah, it's
Can
like every 3 days instead of like they
right?
can lay.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna kick it off.
Alrighty,
We are going to start recording in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Barely Maintaining, the ultimate podcast for die-hard Chicago Bears fans. Join your host, Ryan Burheit, and me, Michael Guyton, as we dive into all things Bears. From game analysis and player insights to the latest news and fan stories, Ryan and I cover it all. Whether cheering from Soldier Field or your living room, Barely Maintaining keeps you connected to your favorite team. Now, get ready to bear down. Welcome, everybody, to episode 38. It's the April 12th edition of Barely Maintaining here. Just kick it off with saying happy birthday to my grandmother. She's 91 years old. So
and Michael.
I'm also 91 years old. Um, physically feeling anyway. But we will talk about, of course, we got the draft coming up later this month, so we're hitting on those. There's some little bit of storylines coming out of that. It's kind of flip flopping on who the Titans might want, blah 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 blah. So that first pick, we'll talk about that. The owners meeting, some of the rules that come out of that. Frozen Fours going on. We have the Masters, and of course we'll cap it all off with an interview with our local College Augustana's head football coach, Stephen Bell. With that being said, let's go to Ryan with, of course, our NFL news of this week.
Yeah, so NFL news this week. Big one was Derek Carr's 2025 season is in question with a shoulder injury he's battling. So the Saints are kind of at a loss for what's going to happen there. Drew Lock is to return to the Seahawks. Texans signed safety Jalen Pitre, I believe is how you say it. Joe Flacco returns to the Browns, so the Browns have got it all figured out quarterback wise now. Uh, Colts released the kicker Matt Gay after 2 years after he just signed a giant contract for kickers, so that was pretty interesting. Dolphins Tyreek Hill involved in a domestic incident. It didn't seem like anything came from that, so I'm not 100% sure what's going on there. Panthers signed Colin Granger, a 6'8" basketball player turned tight end, and Dolphins left tackle Taron Armstead retires. There's also some more news around some college stuff. The Tennessee quarterback Nico Lamalive, I believe is how you say it, didn't show up to spring training. And now the coach is now saying that they're moving in a different direction and they're just going to go ahead and let him do his thing, and he's just not going to be on the team anymore. So that'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. Texas wide receiver Isaiah Bond turned himself in after a sexual assault warrant was issued. And then something that hit close for Iowa was Brendan Sullivan transfers from Iowa a year after he transferred in. So see what they're doing at quarterback there.
Isaiah Bond, just because he was part of that 4th and 31 from Alabama a couple of years ago, he vehemently denies the allegations. Just so we're putting that out there because he's an Alabama guy. Just want everybody to know. He's claiming innocence. I don't know. I'm going with him for now.
Yeah. I also got some QC sports news if you want to get into that, or if you want to wait for a little bit later, whatever you want.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
All right, so I actually got to watch the Riverbandits game. I was streaming it. I figured out how to stream it, so I was watching that. They actually won with a walk-off line drive in the 11th.
Wow.
And they are now 6-2 and lead the Midwest League West division. The Steamwheelers last week beat the Barnstormers 52-38 to move to 3-0. Last I checked, they were up 25-17 against the Barnstormers again this week. But this week, after the first win against the Barnstormers, linebacker Alan Arslunian, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. I'm trying. Wins IFL Defensive Player of the Week with 8 tackles, half a tackle for loss, an interception, and 2 pass breakups. And then the QC Storm, unfortunately, lost the series versus Peoria and got knocked out of the playoffs.
That was a playoff series?
Yep.
They had a good run, though, did they not?
Yeah. Yeah, they were playing pretty well towards the end. And so on Thursday was the first game in the series. They lost in overtime after with 1 second left, game-tying score to take them into overtime was shot, and then happened to lose in that overtime, and then lost tonight or yesterday. It's either yesterday or tonight. I'm not 100% sure.
Congratulations on a great season. No, I was kidding. That's awesome though. They got them playoffs. It would be awesome to have multi-sports team championships coming, you know?
Yep.
I mean, the Steamwheelers were 2 points away, I think, a couple of years ago.
Yep.
And they look good here. I think they've not lost or have lost very few games.
3-0. I know that they lead the league right now. And like I said, last I saw, they were up against the Barnstormers again this week. I think they were up, like I said, I think it was 25-17 last I saw. I was just about to check again to see if it updated. Yeah, 25-17. I don't know. They didn't give a time, like if it was halftime or what it was. The game started at 7, so I figured it was probably getting close to being over at this point.
Yeah. So yeah, we root them on. Steamwheelers already off to a great season. I don't know how many games they have per season, but I do know that winning them all looks good on
yeah.
for the playoffs. So expect to see much more from them. They have an MVP, former MVP of the league as a quarterback. So if you want to see some awesome football, make sure you go to the Quad City Steamwheelers. You can use 4-pack for discount code and get a
They play
discount.
16 games
16. Awesome. So I mean,
through.
you get through quarter of the season with undefeated. It's pretty good, right?
So honestly, this takes us up to NFL because they play through July regular season, and then that would be. I mean, we'll be in the playoffs. Don't worry. So we'll have that too. So I mean, that'll take us right up to the NFL, basically.
Very cool. And you will see some D1 college football players and, guys that could potentially make the league eventually, looking for a spot. That being said, the draft is coming up, and I just want to ask you a couple questions on like your thoughts. So Green Bay luckily have Joe Flacco take nothing basically to be a quarterback for them. I think he can make up to like 12 million, but in incentives, but I think it was like $6 million or something, which obviously for a quarterback is
For Browns, you
nothing.
mean?
Yeah,
Yeah. You said
yeah.
Green Bay, so I was like, what
Because
the hell?
for Ice Green Bay,
Yeah, I was so confused.
um, I was gonna ask about your thoughts on like because of they kind of had Jalen Milroe pegged to go to the to the Cleveland Browns at whatever spot they're picking in.
Oh, really?
Ask your thoughts on Jalen Milroe because I'm skewed a little bit. I honestly don't think he's going to be a great NFL quarterback. I don't know. I would love for him to be because he's an Alabama guy, but I don't think he was ready,
Yeah.
especially how he finished last season. But your thoughts, and I mean, do you think the Browns will take a quarterback, or because they got Flacco, they still sitting on a Deshaun Watson $50 billion contract, and they have Kenny Pickett?
I believe so. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
Um, so they got a lot of quarterbacks.
Yeah. I mean,
Meanwhile,
you can't rely on Joe Flacco to be doing anything at this point, I wouldn't think. Kenny Pickett, I feel like hasn't showed any sign of being good. I mean, at least I feel like he kind of let everybody down. Um, I haven't really seen anything like that shows that he's going to be good. And then Deshaun Watson, like I don't know. I just feel like
not even going to play for at least five games of
yeah,
the season
yeah,
if he even is ready. Then.
right. I think they definitely need to draft somebody and hopefully figure it out. They just cannot figure it out though. Like I don't know what it is about them.
Not a Q-
They had Baker, and I feel like he was good, and I don't know why they let him go. Um, I guess he needed that revamp, and it kind of helped him out. Obviously, he's doing great in Tampa right now, but uh, and then they kind of just have missed the ball from there. Because I mean, they've got. I feel like they've got like a decent team, like
if
overall.
like
Just never had a quarterback.
yeah, you go to a good defense, awesome offensive line, good running backs. They just couldn't put it all together, and they
Yeah,
were like knocking on the door a couple of years ago with Baker, and they just said, you know what, we're going to
yeah,
trade everything for Deshaun, and they're still got picks going to the Texans for that.
yeah.
We're like, thank you. Look at where we're at now. Thanks to you
Right.
guys.
Got CJ and then kind of offloaded what they needed to.
Um, yeah, exactly.
What do you think? Are you think? I mean, they have to get a
I,
quarterback, right?
I don't know. This is such a weird draft for quarterbacks this year. So I don't know if it's worth
I don't know
spending the
that.
first.
Are
You know,
they? Are they? They're two.
no, I think they're. What is the draft order? Let me look.
Because I know it's Titans are one.
Yeah,
But I would say
I
like get some pieces and then get. I mean, this is a draft. Like I said last week, this is a draft. I feel like that is
they're
your
two.
third, fourth round kind of guys instead of your top guy. Like
Yeah,
you develop
unless
those guys.
and I think Abdul Carter. There's some like
Yeah,
defensive guys that are gonna be playmakers
yeah.
pretty quick out the
Just
gate.
for quarterback, it's just kind of like you Take the guys in the third and fourth round and develop them instead of. I mean, we're all hoping that Cam Ward and Shadur Sanders work out. I don't really. I really honestly like. It seems very like every year. It's like the number one team is going to take the quarterback. That's great, unless it's a year where it's like, yeah, nobody's really certain about the quarterbacks.
Well, because typically also like if you're picking number one, you need a quarterback, right?
Yeah,
That's why you are number one because that's like typically the pistol. Because usually, if you have a good quarterback, you're not losing enough games to be the number one pick.
yeah,
Because you can like on our position, that's why we're 10. Because I think we got a good enough quarterback. He won us some games and was kind of playing out of his mind, despite kind of the play calling and some of the missing pieces in front of him.
yeah,
Um, let's just go through the top 10 down to the Bears. I'm going to name the team at the pick, and you just tell me what position they should pick. He doesn't have to be a player, you know what I
yeah.
mean? So, obviously, Titans.
Uh, they're interesting. I think they could use the rusher, but I also, quarterback is what they need too. Like I would say, they're probably going to go quarterback direction.
Yeah. I agree because Will Levis is just like, it was a walking meme last year.
Yeah, it seems like he's
And
doing it on purpose.
almost, it was like, dude,
Every
what is
week.
this? Every week you're doing something like, and you're on camera.
Yeah,
So let's say, yeah, probably quarterback there then.
it's probably
Is it
honestly probably Cam Ward. I think that's
Cameron?
the.
Yeah,
I think that's what everybody's saying is number one, right?
yeah. If they go quarterback, it would be Cam Ward. Yeah,
Yeah,
but everyone's questioning whether they just kind of roll with Will Levis and go with
Abdul
somebody.
Carter, right?
Everyone, even though Cam Ward's probably the number one, he's not really a number one pick, in
Yeah.
any other draft. Supposedly, I don't know. No, Browns.
Uh, oh, anything to improve. I mean, you got to think at some point you got to like make a break year for Deshaun Watson to see if he's gonna happen. Like, because last year wasn't really a good year. They kind of were figuring things out, and he got hurt right last year. Yeah,
Yeah, he got Ian,
yeah.
I think.
So I think if I'm the Browns, I wait either take a quarterback late and wait till next year and see if like where you're at, or and then if I was Browns, I would take. They got running back. They got. I would take Abdul Carter if the Titans don't, and put him on the other
Yeah.
side of Garrett, like, and then have this unstoppable defensive line.
And then it puts a lot less pressure on your offense to have to go out there and
Yeah,
score 5 times or
right.
whatever. I agree with that. And you have so much money in the quarterback room, you can't really put a second pick guy in there.
Yeah,
It's going to cost you a $20 million signing bonus or whatever that position cost.
get like a Will Howard and let him learn from Joe Flacco a little bit.
Yeah, in the later rounds for
Yeah,
sure. Because you're going to be picking 33rd or whatever,
yeah,
right? Or 34th.
yeah.
Third is Giants.
I probably quarterback because this is the year that.
I got no choice.
Well, I don't even know. Like, they're so confused because they picked up Russell Wilson and
Yeah, that's right.
Jameis Winston too,
That's
which
right. Yeah.
you
So
don't
their
need a.
quarterback's playing that this year.
Yeah, you don't need a wide receiver. How was their offensive line?
I don't know. Judging by last year, you'd say it was terrible, but that could have been a
I can't
number of
remember.
things. Holding the ball too long. Tommy DeVito was the quarterback for part of the year, so maybe.
Yeah, you don't really need a wide
Probably.
receiver because you got um what's his Malik Neighbors. I mean, obviously you could take another one, but you don't really need two number one guys that you're gonna pick a third pick on.
Well, and I don't think you'd waste a third pick. Yeah,
Yeah,
that early when you just got something last year. But
right.
there's some positions. I would say definitely something on the offensive line. It's probably a
Yeah.
good. Because you got to build from the trenches out like we do, and probably all these teams really probably need offensive line too, you know.
Yeah.
But they're looking for something like a splash pick. Fourth is Patriots.
Patriots got quarterback. Got it. They're probably gonna look for a weapon, or so I'd probably say because there's potential in that running back. I forget his name. There's potential in their running back they have. Uh, what is his name? He's kind of like a power runner. But which is Vrabel style for sure. So
Yeah.
probably looking wide receiver there, or some defensive pieces, right?
Possibly you don't think Ashton Genty possibly here just to have like two, because then your running game you can just run all game long.
Potentially. I don't know what Vrabel would do in that situation because Vrabel, the only really picture we've had, he had Derrick Henry. Is he going to look for
Yeah.
another piece like that? So, I mean, that way you would think Genty, I guess,
Yeah.
where you're looking for obviously Genty and doesn't run like Derrick Henry, but you're looking for kind of like that running back staple.
Right.
Because, I mean, he's
Yeah.
a big old school uh, offense style.
Yeah. Right. Run first,
Yeah.
pass off the run.
I would definitely say because they've got a pretty good offensive line. Obviously, you could add some pieces to it, but they've got a pretty good offensive line. They've got Drake May, who I think has got a lot of potential. I think weapon. I think they need somebody for Drake May to be able to throw to. I feel like they signed a wide receiver this offseason, but I can't remember who it was. I don't think it was like a big name by any means.
Short.
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't
but
remember either. And it's kind of hard to look up. Like if you look up rosters, it's like roster not available for 25 yet.
yeah.
One's actually made the roster, so I don't know. Um, I think you're right though. So what are you thinking on Patriots? Just gut instinct.
I would say either probably wide receiver is what I would say just to get Drake May something.
Gotcha. And the Jaguars in the fifth spot.
Oh, gee, I don't even know. Uh, Probably line. I would say probably offensive line.
Yeah, again, like just for people listening, we haven't even dug into any of these teams, so we're just kind of guessing off of like just how we feel about these teams, what we
Yeah,
think they
what I
should get.
remember from last year, I guess, is pretty much the
Yeah.
basics of what I'm going off of.
Sixth spot is the Raiders.
Raiders got
Raiders.
a quarterback potentially.
Yeah, they got Aiden O'Connell, and they just picked up Geno Smith, right? They got their defensive end essentially, at least the starter. One probably need maybe another one off that. I don't know. I can't name any other wide receivers other than I think Hunter Renfro is coming back or something.
Yeah. I
I
I
don't.
mean, honestly,
Who's a running back?
uh who was it? Um I guess you could put Genty there if he's not taken. I would also say if Shadur's not off the oh, I'm stupid. The who do we say should take a wide receiver? Um
Patriots.
yeah, probably Travis Hunter, right?
Yeah.
Do,
Yeah.
if Shadur's still on the table, do you think Raiders take him?
I don't know. Yeah. Maybe.
Because you're falling back to the fifth spot.
I'm like confused on this draft,
Yeah,
not
I
on the
am too.
team needs necessarily, but on the players available. So if you're looking like who's available, it's like all over the place. But I'm just looking at like team needs. I would say you're probably right, sniffing around on the offensive line on most of these
Yeah,
out the gate. Probably is what they would really need. I do not know a wide receiver on that team though, and
yeah.
their quarterback room is suspicious. Let's be honest. Geno Smith is good, but not great. O'Connell's kind of proven he can't handle the load
I think he
for.
will be a good backup quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like your CJ Beathard's or your Chase Daniels
No.
type of guy where you're there, you can at least win a couple out of the few games that you're gonna play a year if you have to, and you're good. I
Yeah,
think if Shedeur Sanders is there, I could see the Raiders going for it there.
yeah, I don't disagree with that. Next up is Jets, New York Jets.
Let's
They
see,
don't
they got
have a quarterback, do they?
they have Justin Fields. So
Oh, that's right.
I think he's worth taking the
They
shot
still
on this year. Yeah. I would say if I'm the Jets though, I'm taking the shot on him. Like just try it out
yeah.
this year. See what happens. Aaron Glenn, try it out and see what
If I'm playing, I'm just building the whole offense around him for this year.
yeah.
We're gonna do a lot of run pass options, a lot of option sweep, like those sort of things where he's running the ball, and then Brees Hall and another dude. We got
Yeah.
three running backs, then you just pass minimally, hopefully anyway, theoretically.
Probably defensive line here then
Yeah.
for Jets.
8 Panthers.
Panthers. They got an old wide receiver room.
Definitely.
Uh, Bryce Young is looked good at the end of the year.
Yeah, I think they're rolling with them because you kind of have to what you spent on them
Yeah.
to for a few years anyway because you got rid of all those picks to us and stuff to get them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
You said you're looking at the team needs?
no,
Oh, okay.
I'm just got the order. I just am kind of going off of our layman
Yeah. What is it?
view of the NFL, what it feels like they need.
Yeah.
Uh,
What is it? Panthers.
and it's like most of these teams, obviously the front top 10, all probably need offensive and defensive linemen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's all like
I think it's going to be a very heavy offensive and defensive. It's going to be a trenches draft to begin.
it should be, to be
Yeah.
honest with you, because that's where I think the best available players are.
Yeah.
Which is weird because last year was so QB heavy. It's like everyone kind of got spoiled. 6 of the top 10 were quarterbacks, and they all started at some point during the season and all actually had some sort of success.
What is going on with my camera? Having a strobe
Oh,
light over here. Sorry.
it's all right. We're getting doged right now.
Yeah.
Department of Government Efficiency doesn't like the amount of light you're using. Just kidding.
uh, so yeah, so Panthers, I would definitely say they're probably offensive line.
Do you want to hear the top 10 for players, best available players that they
Yeah,
have?
if you got it.
I just looked it up on ESPN, and it's they got 1 Abdul Carter, 2 Travis Hunter, 3 is Mason Graham, a defensive tackle from Michigan, Tyler Warren at 4, a Penn State tight end, Ashton Genty at 5, obviously running back from Boise State, Jalen Walker, an edge rusher from Georgia, Cam Ward at 7,
Oh my gosh, I was gonna say what?
and he's the first QB on the board, right?
Yeah,
And he's just going by best available. Armin Membo at Missouri, offensive tackle.
I've seen a
Michael Williams.
lot of the Bears looking at that Missouri guy and then
Yeah.
Graham from Michigan.
Yep. Yep.
And then
Definitely.
I keep seeing so much about this Genty stuff. It makes me kind of
Yeah.
nervous, to be honest.
Of course. But I think you're better served getting a generational offensive lineman here in our spot at 10 and then getting Caleb Johnson or somebody like that in the later rounds.
It's such a deep running back draft.
And you just can't spend your first picks on them anymore. You just don't know what you're getting. There's like short lived, even if they might be good.
Yeah,
You're one wrong tackle away from that guy not being good or that good again,
exactly.
So they have Shedeur at 14. I just want to mention that, and he's the next QB on the list.
Wow.
So 7,
They've
14.
dropped quite a bit then.
Yeah.
Because
And I think
they
more
were high.
probably less and more about what other players are doing to raise their board. Because guys like Tyler Warren, that tight end, he kind of climbed up the board a little bit after pro day, combine stuff. Colston Loveland's at 10 for Michigan. He's their tight end. He did the same thing. I feel like he climbed the draft board. Yeah, it's crazy and then I just want to look at it because I was asking you what you thought about Jalen Milroe, where he should go. And I mean, I don't even see him in the top 2 rounds.
Yeah, he's probably like with Will Howard and stuff, where he's probably third or fourth round.
Isaiah Bonds before him, and he just turned himself in.
Yeah.
Uh, so I don't know. Goes undrafted. That being said, let me tell him about Happy Can real quick, and then when we come back, let's talk about the Frozen Four real quick.
Yeah.
Like to hear your thoughts on what's happening, or if there's is there other games today? There were games today, right?
National championship happened. Like it just finished like 2 minutes ago.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Here's Happy Can.
All right, Bears fans, before we dive back into the game talk, we've got to shout out today's sponsor, the Happy Can.
Yeah, if you're looking for a refreshing way to unwind after a long day without the alcohol, but with all the chill vibes, the Happy Can is definitely where it's at.
Happy Can is a lab-tested, vegan-friendly, alcohol-free beverage that's infused with THC and CBD. Whether you're kicking back at home or catching up with friends, it's the perfect way to relax without the hangover.
Exactly. It's crafted for those of us who are over 21 and want to enjoy the benefits of THC and CBD without any of the alcohol. Plus, it's delicious, responsibly sourced, and did we mention it's vegan friendly?
Yep, no sketchy ingredients, just pure chill in a can. If you're looking for something new to sip on, grab yourself a Happy Can and keep those good vibes going.
Make sure to check them out on buythehappycan.com and use code barelyhappy for a special discount for just our listeners. Cheers to a happy, healthier way to unwind.
Happy Can, because it's better when you're chill.
Life is better when you're chill, man.
Yep. Right out of Urbandale, Iowa.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
Life is better when you're chill. No, okay. Have you ever heard that, man? Life is better when you're chill. Real quick, running down the board of quarterbacks in this draft. Top 10, as ESPN has it. Cam Ward, number 1. Stuart Sanders, number 2. And they have him pretty far down on the board, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Jackson Dart, number 3. Another show from Louisville at number 4. Jalen Milroe at 5. Will Howard, 6. Quinn Ewers at 7. Dylan Gabriel at 8. And Kyle McCord from Syracuse at 9. He's been moving up the board a little bit.
Yeah.
Curtis Rourke at 10 from Indiana. I would say I would rather have like a Quinn Ewers or a Will Howard, a guy who's been in huge games, later in the draft, right? If I'm in this draft looking for,
I wouldn't hate a late pick on Riley Leonard either. Like he seems like he's like he lost against Ohio State, but he played a great quarterback game.
yeah. So did Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
Look pretty good.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So yeah, I mean, again, football's a thing where like you can look at individuals and how good they are, but also like it takes other people.
Yeah.
You know, so even if you don't win those games, you might be amazing, and it takes other people, and you might win those games like a national championship and not be anything. The verdict's still out on JJ McCarthy, but I am not sold on him being a field general type quarterback. You know what I mean? That being said, we're gonna tell them about the Frozen Four, which is the Final Four for NCAA hockey, right?
Yep, Division One.
So who were the Final Four then?
The Final Four. Let me pull it back up because I just had it, but it was Boston University, Western Michigan, Penn State, and Denver. Thursday was the Final Four or Frozen Four. It was Denver versus Western Michigan. Western Michigan beat Denver 3-2 in overtime, and then the other game was Penn State versus Boston University. Boston University beat Penn State 3-1, and then like I said earlier, a couple minutes ago, the finals were tonight. I was actually watching them right before you jumped on. But Western Michigan is officially your men's hockey national championship, winning 6-2.
Whoa!
Dominated the game.
Not even close, huh?
No, it was. They played really well. They were every time I turned around to look at it because I had it on this TV right here. they're just breaking away with it. So just over and over again. So they just wasn't even they didn't even it wasn't even hard for them. It didn't seem like.
I need more hockey sounds. I don't know what they play at hockey. Very good. Congratulations to them. I know that D1 hockey here in the United States is very competitive. So
Yeah.
I know to win that is a big deal.
It's about to get
It's as
super competitive.
right?
It's about to get super competitive even more because there was a rule that was just recently lifted that if you played for Canadian juniors, you couldn't play in college. Officially, you can now play in college if you played in Canadian juniors. So those kids will be coming down to start playing college hockey.
Who's the biggest powerhouse? Most national championships in D1 hockey?
I honestly don't
If you
know.
had to-
I mean, it's probably it. I mean, it always seems like it's small schools.
oh, not like Minnesota